lady basically banned the entire African continent from renting an apartment. Like the entire African continent. Like, you guys, you are banned. Blacklisted. Hello guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing great. My name is Janet, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about my experience, my 2022 experience searching for this apartment in Budapest. It wasn't easy, but we're finally here and I would like to talk about it in this video. I've lived in this country for over 8 years, and I must say that 2022 has been the most challenging year to be a tenant. It was really difficult to find this place. I started searching at the end of June, and if it was previous years, I would have been able to secure a flat like in a month, and I would sign a contract in a month or even less, sign a contract and we're ready to go. But I started searching at the end of June, and by the time I found this place and I secured this place, it was already the last week of August. And it was literally at the dying minute that I signed the contract to this apartment, and we're able to move in. So there are a couple of things that happened this time around that I never experienced during my stay here in Hungary. And the first thing is that the real estate agents, they now show the same apartment to a bunch of people over a span of 2 to 3 days before they decide on who takes the apartment. So what I noticed is that like an agent would have like a time slot of like, let's say 1 hour for a particular day, and they would split that 1 hour into 10-minute slots. So each potential tenant would come in and see the apartment. Each person has like 10 minutes to view the place, and then the next person comes in. So you can literally go to see an apartment and you guys are on a queue to see the apartment, which was really strange for me. It was new, like I never experienced that. And afterward, the owner would decide on who takes the apartment. Previously it was not like that. At least for me, whenever I was searching for an apartment, if I see a place and I like it, I tell the agent or the owner at that time that, hey, I want to take this place, and then they agree. I send the contract on another day, and that's it. But this time around, like, you go to a place and you'll be on a queue, like waiting to go in and see a particular place. The second thing that was new for me is that now you have to send in an entire application to the agent or to the owner of the flat if you want to take that apartment. So whenever they finish showing the apartment to like 1 million people, they will ask each person that's interested to send in an application stating that they want to take the apartment, or and also give some additional information. So you give a couple of data. You tell them your nationality, what you do, how many people are going to be staying in the flat. You tell them, basically introduce yourself, you know. Some agents actually asked for proof of funds, so they want to see if you're able to pay for that apartment, and which is okay for me. Like I didn't have a problem with that, but it was kind of strange, like it was weird. Every time you see an apartment, like you have to prepare like a short application with your personal data, you know, telling them like you're really interested in the apartment, which was not so previously. I never had to do that, and this year was actually my first time experiencing this when looking for an apartment. Another thing that was new for me and really frustrating, this pissed me off a lot of time, is that some owners are declining, like they decline to rent their flats, their apartments to foreigners, especially if you're black. If you're an African, your chances of being able to get an apartment is really low. You remember, like I said, the first point was that they show it to a lot of people. So you have like a bunch of people, different nationalities, going to see the flat. And secondly, they will ask you to send in personal information about yourself, and that includes your nationality, where you're from and stuff. And that they use that data to kind of determine who takes the apartment. So basically the owner is cherry picking who is going to take the apartment. And this really frustrated me because there were apartments, I was the first person that viewed the apartment. I really liked the apartment. Tell the owner that the owner or the agent, hey, I'm interested in this apartment. I'm literally ready to sign the damn contract. But then they show a lot of people the apartment, and I guess the person that has the best or the better characteristics that the owner is looking for gets the apartment. So there was a lot of discrimination. I experienced discrimination, not just me, but also there were other Africans also that were looking for apartment that experienced this. And even at work, there was an Indian colleague that we were just talking, and I was, venting about how I've not been able to find an apartment. And she was like, yeah, she experienced the same thing. She's experiencing the same thing because she has also been looking, and every time they will ask for her data, and if they see Indian, they don't, they decline, even if she saw the apartment like the first person, or even among the first few people that saw the flat. So that was really frustrating, and I also confirmed that to be true, because there's this particular scenario that happened. There is the best apartment I saw in Budapest was actually on the Buda side. I really love the apartment. I was ready to take the apartment. Even if it was a little bit over my budget, I was still willing to pay because I really, really love the neighborhood. So I saw it on a website. I'm not going to mention the real estate website. I saw it on their website. I was like, I sent them a message. Hey, is this apartment still available? So they had a chat bot on their website. So I was chatting with someone. He's an agent. And I asked, is this apartment available? And he said, yes, it's available. I can see the apartment. So he gave me a number to message him on WhatsApp. I sent a message on WhatsApp immediately, and then he sent like he sends like what's it called? A checklist, almost like a checklist of things I need to provide. So fine, I didn't have a problem with that. I sent him my data immediately, and the guy was like, okay, that he's going to forward my data to the owner of the apartment, and then they would tell me when I can come see the flat. I was like, okay. I think that was like on a Tuesday or so. And fine, Tuesday I sent the data. Wednesday, there was still nothing. He didn't say anything. And I sent him a message. I was like, hey, what's up? Like, did you get any response from the owner? Like, when can we see the flats? And he was like, the owner didn't respond to his message. So he's still waiting. I was like, okay. And then on Thursday, there was still no response, no feedback. So I sent a message again on WhatsApp. I was like, hey, like, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see this apartment. Has the owner replied? Can we see the place? And he was like, no, the owner has not replied his message. I'm like, this is the third day that you've sent this information. Like, if the owner is really wants to rent this apartment, there's no way that he or she, anyway, sure, it was a she. There's no way like she didn't see your message and she didn't reply back to you. So something was fishy. But I was just like, okay, no problem. So I just forgot about the apartment. I was kind of hoping that they would actually reach out to me, but they never did. And I kept on searching, and anytime I went back to this website, that apartment was still there. And I was like, this place is still available, so I don't understand why I didn't get any response back to come and to view the apartment. So what we did is that we got someone that was Hungarian to message them, and he sent them a message. Hey, I have a couple of friends that are foreigners and they're interested in this apartment. Is it available? And the person on the other side replied that yeah, the apartment was still available, And it was a different agent, not the one I spoke to the first time. So a different agent totally. So they asked for a call. I think they asked for we had a call, and then they gave us a date that we could come see the apartment. I was like, okay, that was fast. Like literally within 24 hours, we were able to they were able to get across to the owner, and they gave us a date to see the flat. So they gave us a date, and then I gave them the time because I was working. So I said I was going to see the flat at 5:30 on a Monday. It was on a Monday, 5:30. So, okay, now I was like, yeah, I was really excited. Like finally we got a response from this apartment that I really loved. So on that day, excuse me, on that day that I was supposed to go see the apartment, I already, I had it at the back of my mind. I was going to go at 5:30, and then around 1 p.m., the agent sent a message on WhatsApp, and by the way, I changed my profile picture on WhatsApp. It got to that point, I changed it. I think I put the picture of my nephew on my WhatsApp. At that time, I changed my profile picture. So this agent messaged, and around 1 p.m. he was like, hey, I don't think I asked you this, but I think you have to provide this data, this information, so that I can send it to the owner, because the owner is asking for further details. And he sent the same checklist the first agent sent to me, and when I saw it, my heart literally sank, because I was just like, I'm sure, like, when I send this information to them, like, game over, like, they're not going to give us this apartment and stuff. I just sat down looking at my phone, you know, looking at the message, and I finally decided, okay, I'm going to respond. So I responded, provided all the information, and when I sent it back to the agent, I kid you not, it was not up to 15 minutes. Not up to 15 minutes that I sent him that message. He replied back and said, oh, I'm actually sorry, but we have to cancel your appointment because you cannot see the flat. The owner has decided to give the apartment to her friend. I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, we're literally supposed to see the apartment on that same day, and you messaged me at 1 asking for further information. I provided the information. Within 15 minutes, the owner of this flat decided that she was going to rent the apartment to her friend. Like, how did that happen? Like, just explain to me, how did that happen? Like, I'm laughing now, but it's not funny. It was not funny. I was really pissed. I was angry. I was boiling from within. I was just like, what does this guy like? What does this guy and this apartment owner take me for? Like, so you just cook up a story and tell me, just come out and say, I don't want to give you the flat because you're Nigerian, or because you're African, or because you're black, whatever. If you don't want to give it to a particular nationality, that's fine. Well, that's not fine. Actually, that's not even fine, because you shouldn't be discriminating people based on their nationality. There are bad eggs in every country, but you shouldn't use that as a yardstick to categorize everyone from having a service. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thoughts. Like, you should, like, stereotypes. You shouldn't use stereotypes to basically, like, crucify the people of an entire country, you know? So I saw the message and I didn't respond back. I didn't respond back for like an hour. And then later I was just like, I need to get a satisfaction that this guy really actually responds back to me to tell me the truth, you know? So I sent him a message. I was like, hey, can you please be honest with me? Like, I'm not a child. Be honest with me. Is it that this owner doesn't want to rent the apartment to black people, or she really gave this apartment to her friend? Because there's no way, it's impossible that within 15 minutes she made a decision with her friend that she was going to rent the apartment to her just after I sent you further information. And the guy read the message, and it took him a couple of minutes to respond. So he responded back. He was like, yeah, that he's sorry, you know, the owner doesn't want to rent the apartment to black people. No, he didn't say black people. He said the owner didn't want to rent her apartment to Africans. That's what he used, the word Africans. If I have that chat, I'll show you. I'll put it on the screen if I still have that chat, because I think I deleted, after I got this apartment, I think I deleted everything that had to do with searching for a flat from my WhatsApp because it was actually a lot. But if I find it, I'm going to put it on the screen. He was like, the owner she doesn't want to rent her flat to Africans because she has had a bad experience with an African that was staying in her apartment. So this lady basically banned the entire African continent from renting her apartment. Like, the entire African continent. Like, you guys, you are banned, blacklisted. And I was just telling the guy, like, like, this is stupid, like it makes absolutely no sense. That I was just trying to tell him, like, okay, I know it's not your fault, it's not your apartment. The owner decides what he or she wants to do with the place, but this lady is basically losing like really good tenants. Like, I've never had any problem in this country when it comes to renting an apartment. I've never had any issues with any Hungarian owner. Actually, they are the ones that tried to double cross me several times whenever I was renting, but I never had any issues with them. And I know a lot of Africans in Budapest, in other Hungarian cities, that they're not troublemakers. Like, we're not here trying to cause trouble. We're not here trying to, like, seriously, do I look like someone that wants to be stressed? Like, there are so many good people from other African countries. I know I'm shouting right now, but okay. Anyway, like, whenever I remember it, it just pisses me off even more and more and more. So that's how I lost the apartment, and actually confirmed it to be true that they were being racist and they were discriminating against Black people, African people. So if you are in that category, like, you are the lowest of low, and basically the chances of you getting an apartment, like, if you are within foreigners, your chance of getting the apartment is like the lowest of the lows among other foreigners. So that was new. That was a new experience for me, at least, because probably someone has experienced this 2-3 years ago. I don't know, but for me it was a new experience, and I was really pissed off hearing all those things. So it was not just from this particular owner, but there were some hints here and there from other agents as well, that they didn't want Africans renting some apartments. So that was new. One thing that was new for me is that now you have to provide proof of funds to the owners of the apartment. So the owners want to know, not all the owners were asking for this, but some of the owners were asking for proof of funds, because I had to provide like proof of funds to, I think, 2 owners. Yeah, to 2 agents. I provided that information. So they want to know if you're able to, pay for the flat, if you're able to pay your expenses on a monthly basis while you are signed on that particular contract, which is fine for me. Like, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, if I'm renting, if I was the owner, I was renting, I also want to know if my potential tenant is able to afford the place. So they will ask for proof of funds, which can be in form of bank statements, or it can also be like, they would ask for, if you say you're employed, you're working, they can ask you to provide like a letter of employment or employment status or something. I've forgotten what's the word. Your employment status, you have to provide that, to prove that you are really working here in Hungary. And if you're a student, they would want to see that you are getting funds from your sponsor, your parents, on a monthly basis, so that you'll be able to afford to pay the rent of the apartment, which is fine and not a problem, but it's just something that you also have to take note of. The thing that was new for me is that now owners are asking for tenants to pay the rent in euros. I had a couple of agents or a couple of owners that were asking for the payment of the rent to be in euros, and they were willing to rent to me actually. But when I saw that they were asking for euros instead of payment in Hungarian forint, I just declined, because it actually made no sense to me. Why would I take that risk? For me, I see it as a risk, because you don't know how the forex market is going to be in the next 6 months, in the next 7-8 months. So, and I work in Hungary, I live here, I work here, my salary is in Hungarian forints, so you don't expect me every month to go to the black markets to change, Hungarian forints to euros and pay to you. That didn't make any sense to me, because I wasn't going to do that. No, not fam. If I was earning in euros, that would have been a different conversation. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But asking people to pay in euro, like, does not, especially if you are earning in Hungarian forints. I know, like, there are people that earn in euros and they don't have any problem with, paying their rent in euros, which is fine. But for me, it was a no-no. This was all I wanted to share with you guys, my 2022 experience searching for this apartment in Budapest. It was tough, it was hard, it was tough physically, emotionally, but thank God we're here, we're able to find a place. And I don't think I'm going to leave this place anytime soon, because it's tough out there, you know. It's tough out there on the real estate market. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, do give me a thumbs up, and also leave your comments below. If you are living in Budapest and you've experienced something like this, leave your comments in the comment section. I would really love to read it. And thank you so much, guys, for listening to the end. I will see you guys in my next one.